Testing. Okay.
Sing us a song, Landon.
Where
what are you
did my
looking
pen
for?
go?
I don't know. Do you need a pen?
No, I probably don't. Just in case. I don't know. In case
You're gonna write a note?
Sometimes when you're talking, I'll write something that I need to say. Like I thought to ask, but I'll let you kind of go on for a bit. Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Woohoo. Okay. Kick us off.
Okay, welcome back to our podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. I'm Kelly Moline. I'm a licensed pharmacist, functional medicine consultant, wife, and a new mom.
Hey, y'all. I am Lana Moline, husband to Kelly Moline, and father of our little baby Danielle.
You always pause so much during your statement, but that's okay.
It's better than saying I'm told.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I could be like, I'm Lana Moline, and
Well, it's funny whenever we go to a restaurant and they're like, okay, what's the name for the order? You always say, Landon Moline, or you say, Landon. You go, Landon.
Yeah, I don't
Every
know.
time.
I feel like I just anticipate a different question every time. And my friends used to do fun things where we give them like a fake name.
Sure.
Like if you go to like A&W and they ask like, oh, and they shout your name over like the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
We'd give them like Lamangelo and Orangelo. And then they would say like, they would read it out and it would read like lemon jello and orange jello. Stuff like that. We kind of...
You're so mature.
We would have fun with it. So maybe that's just the instinct ingrained in me of giving
Landon.
a false name for a restaurant. I don't know. Whatever. It just always kind of surprised me. So yeah, I do kind of go, Landon. And so
We're
I don't know.
30 years in and still questioning
Still
it.
figuring out my name.
One time at a restaurant, they asked me my name. And so I said Kelly, but I guess I didn't emphasize it enough. So I saw her write down Ellie. So I was like, whatever. Well, then they called it out. They're like, Eli. And then I'm like, oh, that's me. So now I'm enunciating Kelly.
Perhaps if you had gone Kelly, you would have had time to really enunciate the K.
Yeah.
See, that's the key. I also, for whatever reason, hate saying my own name.
Really?
I struggle saying my name.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Landon, like, I don't...
Is it a hard one?
No, I just don't like saying my own name. I don't know why.
Do you not like your name?
No, I like my name, but for whatever reason, I don't know. And really, it's really pronounced like Landon, like Landon, like O-N. Like but London? A lot of people say Landon.
Landon.
But
Landon. I say Landon.
So sometimes
wrong?
I even think about like everyone just says Landon. You know, like because
Landon. How am I supposed to say it?
We're getting way too into the weeds.
Notes.
Yeah, let's circle back on this later. Oh, we're getting too far gone. Okay, what are we talking about today?
What happened this week, Landon? Landon.
No. Oh, this is a great show. Okay. No, we went to my I said, no. We went to my brother's wedding in Minnesota.
Yay.
Another trip.
Yeah. Her fourth trip, which made it her 7th and 8th flight, which is insane because I don't think I flew that much before I was 18.
Yeah, I think we've flown more this year, in these past couple of years, than I've ever have in my entire life.
Well, we fly a lot since now we live in Texas, so we moved across the country from our family. So here we are flying once a month, it seems like.
So we went back to my brother to Minnesota for my brother's wedding.
Yep.
It was great. Danielle was the flower girl.
Yay.
She was the cutest flower girl.
Yeah.
I am biased, but I'm also right. She was the cutest flower girl ever.
Which she's 7 months for that. And they asked like, oh, are you mom going to walk her down the aisle? I'm like, well, she just started crawling, so we could try that, but it might take a while. But yeah, the ring bearer was...
You carried her down the aisle.
Yes.
We didn't throw flower petals. We actually had this little like toy flower.
Yeah.
And she held on to it the entire way
rattle.
down.
I thought that was really age appropriate.
Yeah, she was like a little princess with her little flower scepter.
And she held it very well because it was either going to be in her mouth or on the floor. So I was just going to let her chew on it. But then when we actually walked down the aisle, she just held it. Yeah. She didn't smile, but that's fine.
Nope, she did not smile.
Yeah.
But it was cute.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. And the ring bearer was the bride's sister's boy, and he did very well as well.
Yeah, a lot of people asked me if he was going to like pull Danielle on a wagon, and I'm like, they don't know each other that well, and she's not very good at sitting up yet, so she's there, but she's wobbly.
Yes.
And it was like kind of cobblestoney ground, so yeah, I held her.
Yeah. What did you think about the wedding though?
Okay, so I did want to share. So it was very much like raining the whole time.
Yes.
It was like 20 degrees colder than usual, which for like that time of year. Because last year you had another brother's wedding, and that was the end of September. And so that felt
warmer.
That was really hot. It was unusually cold. And I bought this sweater dress and everything for that. And then this time I did not buy a sweater dress, and I bought a regular dress, and then I had to switch to a sweater dress because it was very cold. Anyway, that's not the point of the story.
Yeah.
It was cold and rainy, which is a nice mix up from here, but obviously not ideal.
It's a nice mix up from here.
Yes. Okay. Nice mix up because we live in hot Texas, but not ideal for a wedding. And the bride and groom were not very pleased with that. But the bride, especially, and their group was praying a lot for the reception, and that because it was an outdoor wedding.
They're praying for the ceremony and reception, for the whole wedding. Yeah.
The ceremony, especially because it was an outdoor wedding. And so the pictures, I wasn't part of a lot of the pictures. You were in the wedding. So you said it was like raining on and off every 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. It was on and off every 10 minutes or shorter the entire day. And we would kind of rush out there to take a few pictures, and then it would start raining. We get back inside, and we're kind of like trying to just hit these windows to take pictures. And the whole wedding party was pretty concerned about the rain and the ceremony because it was an outdoor wedding, and the reception it was indoors, but the wedding itself, the ceremony was outside. So they were like, I don't know if it's gonna happen, and they got in a whole prayer group and prayed over the weather.
Yeah. And it wasn't one of these like quick weddings that we have nowadays where it's like 5 minutes and you're done. It was like a 45-minute type of ceremony. So we really wanted it to be nice. And the bride is so sweet and such a believer. She's like, I really think God loves weddings, and he's just going to make it good. And I think he's going to open the skies for the wedding. And she just kept saying that. I'm like, amazing. I love that. And so they prayed for it, and the wedding was at 3 p.m. and it was raining so much right before that. So we were all inside, and we were planning to start lining up at like 2:45, and it was still raining by that point. All the guests are inside like the bar and grill area, and kind of like, are we going to wait it out? Like, what's happening? Because I'm a punctual person typically. So I'm like, are we going to get out there? Are we going to use umbrellas? I don't know what's happening. And then at 2:58, the skies cleared, and everyone was like, okay, we need to get all the guests to seats. We need to line up. And so the wedding was sunshine galore. Like, one of the bridesmaids even got sunburned during it. And then we had our beautiful ceremony and like worship during it. And then the pastor at the end was like, okay, kiss the bride. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Like, hallelujah. The rain stayed away. And then they started walking down the aisle to leave. And then it just started like raining again, which was crazy. And I wanted to share that because there are so many times where I think like God makes his presence, but also uses some of the like not so good times, like the rain pouring and all of that, to show the sunshine and to make it amazing. Because if it was just like a beautiful sunny day, no one, I don't really think, would have been like, wow, God really blessed this day with nice weather. It would just be like, oh, by chance it was nice weather this day. That's fantastic. Rather than the 1 hour of the day it was beautiful, was like the wedding.
Yeah, it felt the whole wedding day felt very God-centered, and it was a unique wedding in that sense, because everything kind of revolved around prayer and worship and just celebrating God bringing this couple together. And so it was really good. And I think if you're a guest, you might have just shown up and been like, wow, what great luck. And this was great. And it cleared for a little bit for the ceremony, and and then it rained afterwards. But like being there all day and seeing, oh my goodness, it's raining every 10 minutes, just constant. It's very repetitious. Like it just keeps raining every 10 minutes. It was looking a little more dire. And so to have it open up for that, 40-minute window was like, and that specific 40-minute window was very cool. So yeah.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah. It was a very emotional wedding. Even the cake was in tears.
That
anyway.
was a good touch.
No, it was in tears actually, but yeah, no, it was a great day.
Yeah. Okay. And then we came home and.
We came home. So on the lines of Danielle being pulled in the wagon, you were kind of like, oh yeah, like she just, she's just starting to sit up. Well, right before we left for the wedding, she started crawling. And it was a little unexpected and sooner than expected because I have not finished baby proofing yet. And so I had the baby proofing stuff in my cart on Amazon, but I hadn't actually clicked order. And so she kind of like crawled a few like steps or whatever, and right before we left, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so
when we came home, she was so much faster.
Yeah, like she had been practicing in her sleep or something. It was crazy. We got home and this little girl was just motoring around the living room and going everywhere. And so yeah.
She even tried to like go up the stairs. I'm like, who are we?
Literally.
Why?
Yeah, she already tried to like scale up the stairs and I was like, this is not happening this quickly. So yeah, a little sooner expected. So I have now been baby proofing. And it's insane though, because like, okay, you look around the living room and you're like, okay, yeah, plug the outlets, that's the obvious one, but there are so many edges on furniture that she could gash her head open on. Like, our house is a dangerous place. Like, and so my biggest question is like, where do you draw the line? There are so many areas she can get hurt, and there isn't possibly any way you can like baby proof everything to the max. I'm like, I know some people get a little playpen, but she really likes to be where we are. She now just follows us and like crawls wherever we're going. So I think
that's a good discussion point of like, do you contain them or do you baby proof everything?
Well, yeah, and can you baby proof everything? I mean, like there's just if it's a rounded edge, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't think she could really she might get a bruise or a bump if she bumps into that, but like it's not going to critically injure her. So I'm like, maybe I won't do that. But I've been trying to put like a little rubber on all the edges and
such a good
all
cat.
the corners and make sure they're rounded and like, yeah. So it's just insane though. But I like, yeah, where do you draw the line? Because I could do that all day and everything would have rubber on it in our living room.
So I think my thoughts on this have changed because, we have dogs first. And I think a lot of people think, okay, you get dogs, it's kind of practice for having a child, which on some points it is, but I'm realizing how different it really is. And I think that's funny to think because obviously they're different. But when you are raising a dog, is that training a dog? You're training a dog. And so you will train them like stay in this part of the house and, they're going to like have that mentality forever. But babies are not like that. You're raising them to be autonomous eventually. And obviously she's a baby now and not like doing stuff by herself. But I think we can protect what we can protect. But I think even babies like to have as much independence as appropriate for them. And so being able to crawl around and follow us or just being able to see us is a lot different than having that like playpen mentality of let me put her in this container and so she's safe, but then they're like crying to get out or whatever too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it's a different way of thinking. And there are times where it's like, okay, maybe if we can't watch her all the time, then like a playpen makes more sense for her safety, but we're pretty much and we have like an open concept so we can keep an eye on her pretty well. And so yeah, we have like covered the outlets, like the obvious dangerous things, and so then she can explore because it's so interesting to me how she just goes to everything and is like it's so interesting to her because it's the first time thinking or seeing it. Like she goes over to the basket with the blankets and she's like just touching it and touching the wire and touching the blanket. And she like spent 10 minutes over there.
Well, and she's very observational. I don't know. She when I was putting on like some of the like rubber adhesives on like the edges of like, the coffee table, afterwards I walked away and she crawled up to it and was inspecting my work. And so she's
like, this is new.
Yeah, she's like, this is different. And so it's just kind of crazy. But I mean, she gets behind things. She finds different areas to explore because she's very curious. And so the one thing I haven't done is like attach things to the wall that could fall down that are like leaning against the wall. And that I still have to figure out that because like we've got a mirror downstairs that she kind of like wedges herself behind, and I'm like, she's not big enough yet to really push it, but if she got in there enough,
yeah,
I feel like she could create enough momentum to try to like.
I think she's stronger than we think too.
Yeah, I think to push it down, she'd have to get in between the wall and the mirror, and then she wouldn't be in jeopardy of it falling on her because she'd be on the other side of it. But that being said,
like slide on her.
That being said, like it's still just not. It's another hazard, but this is crazy because it's just like everything's a hazard. So,
and you have all those intrusive thoughts of, okay, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it differs from having a boy versus a girl. I think you want to keep your kids safe regardless. And maybe a boy, you'd be like, oh, go at it, daredevil. But I'm just like freaking out about.
I think it is a little bit different because you decided to make her knee pads because you felt bad that her knees are red because she's been crawling. I'm like, she's going to get used to it. She's new to crawling. It's like I played volleyball, and whenever you get restarted in volleyball and your forearms are so red from like being hit with the volleyball, and then they get used to it and they're not red anymore. And so I'm like, she'll be fine. And you're like, no, her knees are red. I'm going to make her knee pads out of my socks.
I don't want to, because it can be painful.
Do you think if we had a boy, you would do the same?
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to tell. We'll see.
You think she's soft? She's good.
We'll see. If we have a boy, then we will test that theory.
That's true.
But
we'll keep your
I'd probably be a little less
socks,
worried about that.
But
right now, she's just a little princess. And so we got to, I don't know.
Aw, the dad is so protective even at 7 months old.
Yeah, probably more so now than I ever will be. No, I say that, but I'll probably always be a little protective.
I'm sure.
We'll see.
She's your first little girl.
Yeah. I know I was raised with 4 other boys, so I didn't really have a little girl around, so I haven't gone through this before, okay?
Uh-huh. Girls are tough too.
Oh, I know. You're tough, so yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, anything else on baby proofing that you want to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We're going to it. You still need to put the gate on the stairs. We'll do that eventually. We're just watching her for now.
Yes.
And yeah.
There are still things to be done, and I'll probably find more and more things that I need to. As she continues to explore, I will be like, oh, there's another thing she got her hands on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be
She finds every nook and cranny of her house.
Yeah. Yep. No, when I say she's curious, that is an understatement.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, for her development.
Oh, she's smart. She's figuring stuff out.
Versus like a dog, I'd be like, no. And then we'd move on, Mm-hmm. So it's good. Anyway, okay. So I posted on my Instagram of like crunchy topics that we could talk about. And so one of them that wanted to be discussed was like natural cold and flu tips and tricks. So we could talk about that since it is entering cold and flu season.
Mm-hmm. It is upon us. It comes every year.
Yep. And so I'm not going to go into like what we think of more of the conventional medicine route where you go to the pharmacy or the doctor and they're really pushing the one thing. We're not really going to talk about that today. We're going to talk more about the like natural remedies, alternatives, or in addition to that.
I like it.
Okay. So I think when we think of cold and flu, it can be scary for some people, but focusing on our foundational health is super important for anything, not just cold and flu, but for any type of year, but especially during the season.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a healthier person, you are going to probably have a stronger immune system to be able to fight off cold and flu symptoms. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So the past few episodes, I think we've talked a lot about gut health, and I think gut health is such a center, especially in functional medicine and that realm. So it makes sense that we're talking about it again today. But did you know that gut health makes up about like 70 to 80% of your immune system?
No, I did not.
So
that is a lot.
So having strong gut health, whether that is like probiotics, eating lots of fiber, eating whole foods, eating fermented foods, because we're trying to help the good bacteria establish and replenish and grow. And then we want to minimize the bad bacteria. It keeps it at bay. And then the good bacteria can modulate your immune system and help digest your nutrients. There's a lot of things that the good bacteria does. So that's a big part of it, gut health. And then having nutrient dense foods or supplements. So that can be adding vitamin C, zinc, vitamin D. So getting outside and getting that sunshine. Again, that natural air, that sunshine, that's going to boost your mood, which can also help your immune system and just feel better. But that vitamin D is also really important for your immune system. So if you're not sure about vitamin D, you can always get it tested from your PCP.
There are supplements that are vitamin D supplements, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I think depending on what part of the country you live into, this time of year, you're probably getting less sun.
Yep.
So it might help to get supplements that are vitamin D supplements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we want that optimized. We want a good vitamin D level. And so you can get that tested from your doctor if you want to. If you're already going in for other testing, it's a really easy add-on blood test. Otherwise, you can take vitamin D supplements and take it with food. It's a fat-soluble vitamin. So if you take it with especially food that contains fat, it's more easily absorbed.
Got it.
So yeah, there's not a lot of risk with overdoing vitamin D. I get that question a lot. And it's rare to have like vitamin D overload, even if it is fat soluble and it stays around. But vitamin D does help absorb calcium. So most likely you'd have, if you had like too much vitamin D, you could have like too much calcium in the blood. And so that could be like upset stomach and other things. So if you had that, which is like super, super rare, so I'm not usually concerned
versus like
about
too much
that.
vitamin C, you just pee it out.
Yeah, vitamin C is a water soluble. So if you have anything extra, you will pee it out. But vitamin C is also a little bit different where it can encourage loose bowels. So if you have too much vitamin C, you might have loose bowels, diarrhea. And so then you could like cut down on the vitamin C or like taper up more slowly.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I just learned that like last year that vitamin C can affect your bowel movements. Yeah.
So it's an easy like alternative for people coming in like asking about constipation. That could be something to add on too.
So that's kind of how you build the healthy foundation.
Oh, and then like sleep, getting enough sleep, and then reducing stress. I think during this time of year, we have more stress and we probably have less sleep. So still making sure that those are a focus is important too.
Okay. Yeah. So those are like the foundational health go-tos to make sure you're healthy for any time of year really, but like this time of year being a little more critical with cold and flu symptoms.
Can I add something on that too? Kind of like a little off topic. So if we want to keep it, great. But I thought this was interesting. So we have the Jewish calendar, which is different than our calendar, correct? So the beginning of the Jewish calendar is like April, like spring, right?
I would have to fact check that. I thought we had similar calendars, but maybe not.
I'm pretty sure like the first of the year is like in the spring in the Jewish calendar. It's like after Passover or around Passover. Do you want to fact check me right now?
I don't know.
Okay, let's bring it out. Okay, so according to Google, the first month of the Jewish year is the first month of the ecclesiastical year and the month in which Passover occurs, corresponding to March or April. Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. So we have the same calendar, but their year starts in March, is what I'm getting
March
from
or
that.
April. Yes.
Because I was like, we have the same calendar.
So my point is that the spring is their like beginning of the year. Okay. Sure. And so when we think of beginning of the year, we think of January. And so that's when a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to get back at the gym and I'm going to do all these things and I have these goals and ambitions, and versus like the spring where people kind of like start slowing down in the summer, they take vacations, all of this. Okay. Mm-hmm. Follow me as I get there. But also in addition to this, we have the Sabbath, which starts like Friday evening at sundown to the next Saturday at sundown, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's your rest period. And during the winter, you have shorter days, shorter sunshine days. So you're going to have longer periods of rest because the sun goes down quicker.
Yeah.
Okay. So really, we were, I think, built to have more rest in the fall and in the winter. And then at the beginning of the year is kind of that like spring where we have longer days again, like it's starting to have longer days. And that is when we're kind of built to have more energy, ambitions, and all these other things. So I thought that was interesting. And again, having like our world versus like the world that God built us and the laws that he gave us are like so different nowadays. And where like beginning of fall, school is starting again, we're having all these holidays, we're like so busy always, like ramping up into fall and into winter, and then we're like getting sick and we're stressed and we have less sleep, when it really should be like the opposite of we're getting more rest and we're ramping down and all of that.
Yeah, that actually is a good point. I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think we are supposed to, by design, we probably should be getting more rest in the wintertime because that's when we're trying to conserve more energy and stay healthy. And and that's when we get more busy because of school starting back up and just the way that the world nowadays is crafted.
And businesses get busier, like pharmacies are busier because of like cold and flu season. There's a lot of immunizations. There's like so much going on. And then
everyone's trying to wrap up things in the business world by year end. So it gets crazy busy then too.
Yeah. People are going to the doctor more because they're like taking vacations all year or all summer. So they're putting it off. So then in the fall, it gets always busier for like medical health systems. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I say all of that, but we're not Jewish, but Christ was a Jew. Jesus came as a Jew and he showed us how to live, and he came to fulfill the law, not abolish the law. So yeah, I think it's important to like look at that and look what was given to us to practice, because it can matter a lot in our health too.
Yeah, I think that's something that gets lost in translation a lot in today's day and age. Like you said, Christ came to fulfill the law, not abolish it. And the Greek word for fulfill was to carry out, or it means to carry out or show how it's done. And so he came to show us how to live our lives. And I think a lot of people, they forget that Christ was a Jew. And so, we say all the time in the church, we want to be Christ-like. Mm-hmm. But then when you say like, oh, that's a Jewish thing, or like, it's like, well, that's how Christ lived his life. That those are the practices that he carried out, that he walked in and talked and all that kind of stuff. So
it's like the phrase that used to be said a lot, like, what would Jesus do? It's like that.
No, it's that's kind of where, like, if you look at his life, you'll see that he actually probably rested more in the winter time and stuff when the days were shorter. And just like a lot of those laws and practices are for our health, and like teach us how we should live our lives, not just to abide by the law, but also like for our own health. So it's kind of interesting, but it's something that people miss a lot.
And I think spiritual health goes hand in hand a lot with physical health, and we don't think about that a lot, especially in, I think, the medical world. You have all these numbers and labs and values, and you're just trying to treat that versus like the person as a whole, which can include spiritual health as well. Anyway, I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That wasn't on my notes. So let's move on. But that's a lot of like foundational health of reducing stress and getting more sleep, especially in the fall and winter months when we have cold and flu season more.
Got it. So that's foundational stuff. Are there more preventative things you can do?
Yes. So preventative. Yeah. So with moms or adults, so there are things you can take like the vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. You can take elderberry. All of that can be really helpful for preventative or probiotics. I really like a probiotic that focuses more on respiratory and immune health. That really helped me, especially during my pregnancy. And I was very conscious of, that cold and flu season. As I was in the second and then third trimester last year, because I didn't want to be on antibiotics. I didn't want to get sick because that's stressful for the baby. I didn't want, to even be prescribed Tamiflu. Would I take Tamiflu? Maybe not. Probably not as like a pregnant person, but that's between you and your doctor as well. But I think there's a lot of things in the alternative world that you can do in the natural health world that can be really helpful for, killing those viruses or helping your immune system. So, and then kids or babies. So obviously breastfeeding can be really good for their immune system because you're giving them those antibodies through your breast milk to help modulate their immune system. Chiropractic services can be really helpful to also regulate their nervous system. Again, lots of rest, reducing the fragrances or chemicals, because that can also overload the immune system as well and overload their detox pathways. What else? Anything else?
Lymphatic massages.
Oh yes, for adults, lymphatic massages can be really helpful for preventative, and then also when we're sick too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you can go probably get a lymphatic massage, but we did some like self lymphatic massages on like YouTube last year when we were not feeling great.
Yeah. You got sick right before she was born, and so we were doing like all of the natural remedies for you.
Yeah, you were like, "Don't you dare get me sick when I'm pregnant."
Seriously.
You were mad at me.
Well, I have a few days.
I was like, I got sick. I'm sorry.
You have a few days of grace where I'm like, okay, I'm going to take such good care of you, Landon. And then after a few days, I'm like, okay, can we get over this now? Because
when I never get sick, but then like when it rains, it pours. When I get sick, like I'm down for the count.
That was the sickest I've seen you.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yep. No.
But yeah, thankfully we got over that before the baby.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. But yeah, what else?
So I guess those are preventative, and so we talk about treatments, like actually treating if you do have a fever or if you do have the flu, what that looks like.
Yeah. So I think that's a big discussion because flu and cold are viruses and not bacterial infections. And I say that because antibiotics kill bacteria, not viruses. So if you're going to the doctor for every little sniffle, earache, that kind of thing, it could just be viral and not a bacterial infection, and antibiotics won't cure that. And that can also just create more antibiotic resistance. So bacteria will create a resistance against antibiotics that we may need in the future.
You're saying if you get prescribed antibiotics by a doctor, it could have a negative impact on the bacteria.
I'm saying it won't help.
It won't help.
It won't help a virus. But it's going to also have a negative impact because antibiotics kill bacteria, and that's going to be the bad bacteria, but also the good bacteria in the gut. And I talk a lot about gut health and, taking probiotics and all these things. So if we can avoid antibiotics, that is great, because we can maintain all of that good gut health and good bacteria in the gut. But if we need antibiotics, replenishing with probiotics and probiotic rich foods and all of that is going to be helpful.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, but if you do get sick, extra rest, fluids,
plenty of water, stay hydrated,
whole foods, all of those are going to be really helpful. So like bone broth, again, that can be also beneficial for the gut. So, and it's going to add fluids, but then we can have increased doses of vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, colloidal silver. Homeopathic medicine can be really helpful. There's very, very little risk, if any, with homeopathic medicine, and some people it works better than others, and there are things to do to help it work better, like don't have any like strong substances like coffee, toothpaste, that type of thing when you're taking homeopathic medicine, because it can make it ineffective. So yeah, do you remember I had like the little pellets? I'm like, okay, take a few of these every couple hours, and so that can help a lot with cold and flu symptoms too.
Gotcha. And then I guess because I used to always use like Dayquil, NyQuil if I had a cold. And so would you say stay away from those altogether, or is there a point in time where you're like, if it's super severe, take it to reduce your fever? Because I know they have like Tylenol in them.
Yeah, so Tylenol is a big discussion point too. With fever, did you know fevers can actually be beneficial from killing infections?
No.
So fever is there for a reason. We were built by design. And so the fever is your body's temperature going up, right? That's what a fever is. And when that body temperature goes up, it can kill viruses, bacteria, that type of thing. It's there for a purpose. It can kill those things that can't survive in that increased body temperature. Does that make sense? Yep. So it is there for a reason, but if it gets too high, it can be damaging to the body as well. So that's when you want to monitor and keep in contact with your doctor or your pediatrician for your kiddo. And so if it is too high, they may suggest Tylenol or those things as well to reduce the fever. But you can do like the cold compress on the forehead and that kind of thing too, to just help those symptoms. And Tylenol also reduces glutathione, which isn't good. Do you know what glutathione is?
No.
Okay, so glutathione is your major antioxidant in the body. So antioxidants help protect the cells, and they're also like a fire extinguisher in the body, just getting rid of a lot of like harmful things that damage cells. So that's like our mother antioxidant, or it's our most dominant antioxidant in the body. And so Tylenol actually depletes that. So, which isn't like great for us. So I think there's risks and benefits of any medication, even over the counter medication. So it's just something to consider.
Gotcha. So, but all in all, you're saying stay away from the Dayquil, NyQuil, and try to do more homeopathic like remedies.
So I'm going to say contact your pediatrician with that and just refer to that. So if you do feel sicker and your fever is going higher, or your kiddo's fever is going higher, stay in contact with them, because they're going to tell you when it's time to go in or take the Tylenol at home. Yeah, I'm going to refer to them, because everyone's going to feel comfortable in different aspects of that, and when to go to the doctor and when to take medication for it. But I think there are other alternatives we can do in the meantime, and our body can fight a lot of it off.
Yeah. And I think I've heard a lot of different strategies to fighting cold and flu. And I think there's not just like one right way to do it. I think it kind of depends on who you talk to, and there are definitely different ways to go about it, and there's not just one right way. So
yeah, that's actually a good point. So listeners out there, if you have like family hacks, tips and tricks that you've used during the season, or like if your family starts getting sick, if you catch the cold, what you guys do, it's always interesting to hear what other people do, because that's where I get a lot of it too.
Comment on your favorite cold and flu hacks.
Yeah.
It's good to know, and so that we can share them and add to our arsenal of tactics.
Yeah. But I think mindset is a big thing too, of knowing like our bodies can handle a lot and sickness still happens even when you're trying to do the best with prevention, and that's okay. And yeah, our body, God made our bodies to heal, and so it can heal a lot.
Yeah, I think, when, like you said in the past, like when you get a fever, like your body is creating antibodies, and that is going to boost your immune system. So it's okay to get sick. It's not like you're a failure if you get sick. Mm-hmm. So give yourself a break. Don't get all down on yourself if you got a cold or a flu in this season. It's not the end of the world. It's your body's going to use that to boost your immune system.
Mm-hmm. Like kids get sick a lot because they have these brand new immune systems.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're exposed to it, they don't have those antibodies yet. So they're just building those up, and that's okay.
Yeah. Obviously you don't like being sick, but it's not necessarily an all bad thing.
Yeah.
It's natural. So yeah, don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah. We can do it. Mm-hmm. We have our God-given immunity.
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea how long that podcast was, so I think we should just end it there with your dad joke.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do a dad joke. Okay. What do you call a moose with no name?
No name moose.
Anonymous.
Great, Landon. Thank you. Anonymous.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah.
You can use that one. Tell your friends.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends.
5-star reviews.
5-star review. We like those.
Yes.
But definitely share with your friends.
Yes.
It is that time of year. I think people can probably benefit from hearing a little bit more about cold and flu.
Yeah.
Especially in this coming season.
Yeah. And functional medicine and that natural health in general, I think can benefit a lot of people. Or just us moms, we're just trying to research as much as we can to do what's best for our families or ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget to comment your favorite cold and flu hacks.
Yay.
We want to hear about them.
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right, thank you.
What's our social? Functional medicine for moms. Yep.
Functional medicine for moms.
Yep. Okay, I'll drop the rest of the info in the show notes. I think we just need to end it now. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.